Welcome to Behind the Spotlight. I am Crystal Lampett, and if you're a fan of Christina Perri or Ingrid Michaelson or any of those great indie artists, you are going to love Kate Rose. She's here in studio with us today. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So you're going to kick it off with one song off of your newest album, and it's called Living in a Postcard. Okay, take it away.
As soon as I can, I'll try to make it back your way so very soon. But until then, this postcard I'm living in we'll just have to Oh, 'cause living in a postcard may be pretty, but it's lonely.
And that was Living in a Postcard by Kate Rose. And I'm curious to know a little bit more listening to the lyrics of that song. What's it about?
It started off as I wanted to write a song in 3/4 time, and I went to this Listen Up KC event.
Cool.
And this guy Jeff Porter was playing, and he talked about how he would spend his time in Norway for a couple weeks because he had a following there. And of course we all were like, oh, that's so cool. Yeah. And he sort of said that, you know, yeah, it's really pretty, but it's like living in a postcard.
Norway is.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what was sort of your translation of that? That it's pretty, but it's lonely?
Yeah, exactly. So it got me thinking about that, and then it sort of started to translate into, it gave me an idea to work with, and then it translated into the idea that, you know, I'm going to be going to college soon and all of that, and so, you know, I'll be sending postcards and like stuff like that back to my family and everything.
Ah, interesting. I like it. And you do write all of your own music,
yes.
right? So where do you get some of your inspiration?
I get it from really anything that I hear. Sometimes I start with the lyrics and sometimes I start with the music. If I start with the music, it's usually I've heard a cool riff from another band and I'll just kind of try around with that. But if I hear just a line out of a book or anything like that, then I'll take it and translate it into what it means in my mind and try to write a song around it.
So creative juices kind of start flowing.
Yeah.
I like it. Who are you listening to right now?
Right now, I've been listening to a lot of Daywave and Death Cab for Cutie and Ingrid Michaelson, definitely. Nice. I love female singer-songwriters.
Yeah, we need more of them out there, so props for you for going out and getting it. Tell me a little bit about your background, because I know that you've moved around a lot.
Yeah.
So where are you from?
I was born in Ohio, and then we moved to Las Vegas for my parents' job, and that's where my brother was born. And then we moved to Northern California for a while, and then I ended up here when I was around 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Has it been just a wild ride?
Yeah, it was interesting because I don't remember a lot, but I think I took the sort of like California attitude and brought it here a bit. So
just kind of laid back, easy going. That's not a bad thing. Definitely not a bad thing. I've noticed in your music you write about home a lot.
Yeah.
What does home mean to you? For some people it's a specific place. What does it mean to you?
Home is wherever I feel welcome and wherever I feel loved and
where you feel safe.
Yeah,
family.
exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting because for some people it's it's their childhood home or it's a specific place, but I know when you move around a lot it's sort of a different thing to grasp.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that comes out in your music a lot?
Yeah, I think so, especially in like the transitory state that I am in my personal life too, because I'm going to be moving next year. It gets me thinking about what exactly is home and what can I call home when I move and everything. So.
Well, it sounds like music can kind of be that for you.
Yes,
it's a safe
exactly.
place for you. And speaking of college, what are you going to study?
Music business.
Music business.
Yeah.
Awesome. Tell me a little bit more about that. What does that involve?
It's basically you get to learn some entertainment law, you get to learn, some of the basic business, like how to build a business plan, and you also get to focus it for your music, which I find really helpful. Some people pursue management out of music business. I just think it's a more stable choice than just choosing a performance major. Because you can go into really anything in the music business then. Yeah,
and it's still related to what you're doing.
Exactly.
So you're a smart girl. I like it. You're thinking of the future and all the different possibilities.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you so much for being here. We will be right back with more Kate Rose on Behind the Spotlight after this.
See what it's all about. I don't care if the morning.
Welcome back to Behind the Spotlight. I'm here tonight with Kate Rose. And so we were just kind of talking a little bit more about your influences. Who would you say is the #1 female artist that you love who really inspires you right now?
I really look up to Stevie Nicks, and I have for a while, so.
Classic,
yeah.
It's a good choice. Now, earlier, we kind of talked about you going into college, and you are very young. What are some of the challenges with being a young artist?
A lot of people think, they look at me and they're like, oh, that's cute, she does music, but, I want to do this for the rest of my life, so it's like, please take me seriously. Yep. So it's really hard to get people to, see me not just for my age or not just be like, oh, she's 17 and she's doing all this cool stuff. Yeah, thank you for acknowledging that, but I would be doing all this cool stuff even if I wasn't 17. So.
Of course. Well, and speaking of cool stuff, tell us about some of the work you've done with Tech 9. I mean, you have done a lot already. You've got a lot under your belt.
Yeah, I did A Certain Comfort with Tech 9. It feels like forever ago, but.
So when you were like 12?
I was 15, yeah. And so that was really cool. It was my first thing that I could actually put out there and say hey, look, I've done something awesome. And it did open a lot of doors for people just to hear me and just to recognize the name a bit more. And I recently recorded something for Tech's new album, The Storm, that should be coming out soon. And I'm very excited for that because that one actually was my own song that I had written prior to that, and then we just sampled some of that. So I've done that, and then I've also performed around. And so I feel like I have a really good resume, but I still feel like sometimes people just see the face and they go, "Oh, you look 12."
Yeah, well, you're young, and you're also 4'11", is that right? You're tiny, but you have this huge voice, and you do have a lot. But so I get it. You know, you want people to take you seriously, which I think will come with experience.
Yeah.
And, you know, what advice do you have for other artists who are just getting started and might have that same issue?
I think just stick to what you're writing and try to write the most honest thing you can, and people will realize that your talent surpasses your age, and it should be number one on what they notice.
Yeah, that's a very mature response. What do you do when you have a bit of a writer's block? How do you cope? How do you get inspired?
I usually will read. Sometimes poetry especially comes with some really good metaphoric lines that you can take different ways. I'll also just go out and try to do something with my friends, just find something that inspires me, because all of my writing is from real life experiences, and sometimes I'll listen to other local musicians, you know, and see what they're writing about, or sometimes I even just pick a song title and I'm like, I like that title, let me write a song around that title. So
I think sometimes you just have to almost stop what you're doing, take a break, maybe go hang out with some friends, and like take some space from it.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
What do you think is sort of what would you say is your goal eventually, the end goal?
I always find it funny because people assume that I want to be famous.
Yeah.
And I always tell them that's not the number one goal. The number one goal is to play and have enough of a fan base that, you know, I can live comfortably with what I'm doing. And also I'd like to make it so that, you know, people hear my music and they can connect to it. They don't feel as alone and everything.
What's your, I guess, your goal with your image as well? Do you want to be indie, folk?
Indie is probably more where I'm going, but whatever people seem to fit me is fine. I don't really try to fit into a specific box. I just kind of see where people decide to listen and hope that that's enough for them.
I think you just kind of hope that you're reaching an audience and kind of doing what you love. Is there anything that you really love about the performance aspect of it? Because I know it's really exhausting too to balance.
It's I really love just seeing people's reactions when I'm playing. I like it when you can tell that people are paying attention, and I don't know, when I get up on stage, it's like a switch gets hit in my brain and I just become like a completely different person.
That's interesting. A lot of artists say that some are very introverted in real life, but as soon as they get on stage, they take on a different personality. Does that kind of happen with you?
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely still kind of extroverted in my normal life, but I definitely notice that when I get on stage, I feel a lot more confident, and I don't let the eyes get to me.
Cool. With you going into college and doing so many things, what are some things that you do to balance? Because I know you have extracurricular activities, you've got school, you've got studying. Yeah,
I work every day after school for 3 hours, and then I go home and do my homework, and then
You work every day after school?
Yeah.
Where do you work, or what do you do?
I work at a daycare, and I work with the 2-year-olds in the 2-year-old room, so it's basically, at that point, they aren't really learning anything, you're just kind of making sure they don't like get into anything.
Making sure they stay alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is challenging, not to minimize the challenge that lies there. Yeah, so you're going to school, you're working, and then you're practicing with your band.
Yeah.
And sleeping occasionally, hopefully?
Yeah, I definitely sleep. I make sure to get my full 8 hours.
So it just takes that commitment, I think.
Yeah,
it takes the dedication to do all of those
I have
things.
to wait till the weekends because I don't work on weekends, and then I go, hey, can I hang out with my friends? And then my parents are like, yeah.
Oh, man, you've got a lot going on. Well, I do want to get into our 4 favorites segment, because this is a fun little thing that we do. First of all, I got to ask you, what is your favorite book?
I like Let's Get Lost by Adil Said. It just sort of shows how one person can influence different people's lives.
Oh, I haven't heard of that. I'll have to check it out. Okay, and moving on. This might be a difficult question, but your favorite music artist, if you had to pick one.
I always put a caveat, alive and still together and still playing.
Okay.
Death Cab for Cutie is definitely.
Okay. Have you seen them perform?
Yes, I've seen them twice.
Yeah. You're like, I'm there, number good. They are good. Okay, and then your favorite movie?
Probably The Art of Getting By.
The Art of Getting By. Okay, I haven't seen this one. Enlighten me.
It's definitely a teen angst sort of
Okay,
movie.
kind of a coming of age.
Yeah.
And is it newer?
No, I think it was like 2011 or so.
Okay, so a few years old. Got it. Okay, and then the last of our 4 favorites, your favorite band story or your favorite fan story, something fun that's happened when you've been out performing.
I think one of my favorites is actually at my release party. These 2 little girls were there with their parents, and they came up and they asked me to sign their EPs afterwards, and that was just really great because it made me realize that, you know, you're not just playing, you're affecting other people as you do it.
Yeah, I thought it was like a fun little moment, like,
yeah.
you fans, yay! And speaking of your EP, tell us a little bit more about it. It's called Bittersweet.
Yeah, it's called Bittersweet. There are 5 songs on there, and you heard 3 of them, and 2.
Yeah.
And I created it, I wanted to start it because I felt like I was really ready to get something out, and I wanted to do it especially before college. Because some colleges, for the programs that I wanted to apply for, wanted to hear a more, you know, clean sound, and that's not something I can get with my home recording equipment.
You're not like on your iPhone.
Yeah. And I wanted a band sort of sound because it's hard sometimes to get booked as just an acoustic performer.
Really?
And so, yeah.
Huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I wonder why that is. Yeah.
I figured a fuller sound would sort of help to get me booked places, and it helps to have something to say like, hey, I can sell this at my show. You know, it really helps to get me the exposure
that you want.
Exactly,
Yeah, I could see that. I guess they want that energy behind it,
Yeah.
which comes with having a full band.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, last question. What do you see your legacy being in the future?
I hope to inspire another group of female singer-songwriters, and I really like to write lyrics with meaning beyond just like personal, but also that, you know, can get other people thinking, and even if they don't change their perspective, maybe they realize that there's a different perspective out there. So I'd really just like to, you know, make people think a bit more.
Yeah, have like a raw sort of honest sound, I think is really important to you. Well, anything else? Anything else you'd like to add?
Hi, Mom and Dad, Adrian.
which they, you know, they are here and they're wonderful and supportive, and we got you out of school, and we're so lucky to have you in studio. Thank you so much, Kate Rose.
Thank you for having me.
I can do is enjoy the view. Wait till I
Welcome back to Behind the Spotlight. We've been hanging here with Kate Rose, and we have one more song coming up. But before we get to that, I want to know, where can people who love your music find it?
Well, my EP is for sale on iTunes for those who want to download, but I do sell signed EPs on my website, purerosemusic.com.
Okay. Perfect. Well, we'll have to check it out. Make sure you follow her. You're on Twitter, you're on Facebook.
And Instagram, all that fun stuff.
Awesome. Okay, we have one more song, and it's called Coming Home by Kate Rose.